What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. And in today's video, I want to show you guys how I was able to get this beautiful Sram AERO chainring 48 tooth on my Cervelo Aspero-5. Now, if you're on the market for an Aspero, or if you own one, you should know that the max chainring size claimed by Cervelo in the one buy is a 46. Now, I knew going into this, there was a 99% chance that a 48 was not going to fit. I still decided that I wanted to buy and try to fit it because I knew there was a way that I would be able to make it work, and I did find a way, and that's what I want to show you guys on this video. Now, I didn't do this yesterday, and I'm telling you guys about it today. I actually had a pretty good amount of time and even races on the bike. My first ride on it after I did it was a 107-mile ride. It was perfect, no issues at all. Second ride was actually a race, which was Florida State Gravel Championships, where I finished second in my age category and third overall. Also perfect, not a single problem during that race. And then after that, I did a few short 20-30 mile rides. And then a few days ago, which you'll see because the bike is really dirty, I did an 111 mile gravel ride, and that was the last time that I rode the bike. And it, like I said, it's been absolutely perfect for me here in Florida. Having that bigger chainring in the front makes a huge difference. Now, for you guys that live in the hills, you probably don't need a 48. You're probably fine with the 40, but for me it is massive how much advantage and how I'm able to get up to speed quicker and maintain that speed once I'm actually rolling. So let's go and jump over to the bike, and I'll show you guys exactly what I did to be able to get this done. All right, guys, so here we got the bike. This is how it's currently set up, how I'm riding it now. Don't mind all the dirt on it. It just actually shows that I do ride the bike a lot. So this is how it's currently set up. Everything working perfectly. Now I am going to go back and sort of go back to step one, to when I first put the chainring on, and then sort of on the first issue that I found was, and then we'll move on from there. Exactly what I did, so you guys have a better idea, and then we'll end up here. Which is where it's at right now, which is working perfectly. All right, guys, so obviously the first thing I did once I got so this is just a SRAM Force. I'm pretty sure it's the same thing for red, because this chainring will work on SRAM Red and SRAM Force as well. So first thing I did, of course, was take that 42 chainring off. It's just this 8 bolts right here. I put that back on. So now I knew that this wasn't going to work. Because, like I said, the max chainring size that Aspero says is a 46. So I knew a 48 wasn't going to work, and that's also the reason why I didn't order a 50. I would much rather have a 50 on here, but I know the 48 was going to be hard to fit. So first thing I did, of course, was, which I'll show you guys. So the bike comes with a 3mm spacer right here, and no spacer on this side. On this side, all we have is just the preload adjuster. So first issue I found was that I would get this on here, right? And then I wouldn't have enough space, of course, with the 3mm spacer. So I said, all right, no big deal. I ordered a pack of different spacers. They're pretty cheap, like 10 bucks or so, and it comes with different size spacers. So the next thing I did was I went from a 3 to a 5mm spacer, which is what's on here right now. Now I put this on there, and that was perfect as far as me having the space right here. But as soon as I would put this on here and then tying it up, I would have the space here. I could even tie it to spec with the torque wrench. I would have plenty of space here. But even with, and I'll show you here, even with the, even with the preload adjuster all the way back, what was happening was when I timed this to spec, this spindle was too short. So when the drive side crank would come in here, it would preload the bearings so much that this would hardly spin, and that was with the preload adjuster on there. So my next step, and like I said, I'm not telling you to do this, I'm just telling you what I did, and it's worked perfectly for me. I don't regret it, and I really love this chainring. Like I said, after I did this, I have put a lot of miles on it. I tested it, I have had 0 issues with it. So next thing I did was So I remove the preload adjuster out of here, right? And then I left the other part in there, but I removed the preload adjuster. I got a caliper and I measured, obviously with this piece there, I measured everything together, and then I went 0.5 millimeter smaller, right? Which was a 4 so this measured about 5 millimeters. So I got a 4.5 millimeter spacer. And what I did was, and I'll show you guys on the other side once I put it all back together, I actually removed the entire preload adjuster, so I'm not using a preload adjuster. All this does is just to put, to pretty much preload the cranks, just so when they're on the bike, you don't have side-to-side play. So with that, by me removing this and putting something, a spacer that was just 0.5 millimeter smaller, it actually worked perfectly. I had no side-to-side play. The crank would spin freely. I'll put a video so you guys could see. The crank would spin beautifully. And then, like I said, all I needed was 0.5 millimeter. And then, so what I did was, because on this side I had to go from a 3 millimeter spacer that was on here, which is what Cervelo, or not Cervelo, but Sram specs for this frame and shell size. Because I went from a 3 to a 5, I increased 2 millimeters on this side, so 2 millimeters, which, you know, it could have not affected the chain line. I wasn't too worried about it. But because I removed this, which measured 5 millimeters, and I put one on this side that's only 4.5, that brought down the increase on this side to only 1.5 millimeters, which is very, very small. I have had no issues with chain line or anything at all. I have not dropped my chain. I have not had, I didn't even have to adjust the gears at all. I was literally running it the same way that it was before. So let me get all of this back together, and I'll show you guys what I mean on the other side real quick. All right, guys, so these are the spacers that I was talking about. And like I said, you can get a pack for pretty cheap. It's like 10 bucks or so. So this is a 4.5 millimeters, and you can see they're SRAMmed up. These are spacers from SRAM. This is not something made up or anything like that. Now, this SRAMmed up spacers also have a lip. I don't know if you're gonna be able to tell on the video or not, but they have a lip right around here, which actually goes into the bottom bracket seal there. So it's not like this spacer is just loose there doing whatever it wants. The spacer actually goes into the bottom bracket seal that is on the outside of the bearing, and it just clips in there. So like I said, this is the 4.5. This one actually replaced the tensioner, or the preload adjuster that comes on the cranks. And like I said, with this one, I tried different ones. I tried a 5, it was too much. I tried a 4 millimeters, and it actually had a little bit of play, or at least I felt like. So this one was the one that I found that worked the best, and this is the one I put. So let me go on the other side and show you guys what I mean. All right, guys, so like I said, no preload adjuster. Just put that in. I have the 4.5 millimeter spacer on that side, and then on the other side, as you can see right here, I got the 5 millimeter spacer. So 5 millimeter on this side, 4.5 on this side. So if you're doing this, you're trying to put a 48. Honestly, I'll show you guys at the end, but I think there's even space for a 50. If I had a 50, I would try it on, but I'm not. I don't have one, so obviously I can't try that on. So if you have a SRAM Force, Aspero, I'm sure that this is a 5, but I'm sure all the Asperos are the same. The frames are the same. So I get this on there, and it'll tell you. It'll tell you right there that it's an 8 millimeter hex, and then it'll tell you, I believe, yeah, 54 nanometers. So let me get these on there real quick, and I will torque it down to spec, and I will show you guys what I mean. That was the best spacer that I found as far as putting the right amount of preload. And what I did was I measured how the cranks would spin. Obviously by feel, right? When the preload adjuster was in it, and it was preloaded to the right amount of preload, and then I kind of try to replicate that feeling with different spacers. So that's on there. Now I got the torque wrench, and as you can, I don't know if you could tell from the video or not, but it is set to 54 nanometers. And now we will go ahead and torque this down, and you'll see the torque wrench will go red. This 54 newton meters is actually a lot, but you will see the torque wrench go red once I reach 54. Right there, that's 54 newton meters. Now the space right here, like I said, it is freaking spot on. I said I might even be able to fit a 50. I'm very happy with this. I don't know if I'll ever put a 50, or at least if I have one, I'll definitely give it a shot just to see if it'll fit. But unfortunately, I don't have one for you guys. But like I said, the preloaded is absolutely perfect. There is zero side-to-side play from the cranks, and the bearings are not too preloaded where you can obviously lose performance by having them preloaded too much, but also destroy your bearings. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, if this helped you out, if you want to try it out, please let me know in the comments down below if you have done something like this, and if you wouldn't do something like this because you think it is actually ridiculous and it's not that big of a deal to actually have the Sram chainring on an Aspero or a 48, you'll be happy with a 46. Now, I live in Florida, so for me, having this big chainring would definitely make riding a lot better, and being on the right cadence and having the right chain line makes a big difference. Now, probably I'm also going to end up changing this cassette to a closer ratio cassette. So this is a 1044. It's what comes stock on the bike, and I'm probably going to end up doing something like a 10 to 28, maybe 1030, 1032, something around there. I'm never going to use this part of the cassette. Now keep in mind, if you do end up doing this, the only little issue that I have found, and I'll show you guys here, obviously the chain might be, is definitely a little too short, because like I said, this comes with a 40. This is way bigger than what comes on this bike. So using all these gears, which is all I will be using, it is perfect. Now once you start getting into the bigger ones, you can see how stretched out that is. Now it will shift even into the biggest one with this chain, so if you don't buy a chain in the meantime, if you do this, you could definitely still ride it. I would not recommend it though, but like I said, here in Florida, I will never use, and you can see, like I said, it shifts perfectly, and I never adjusted the chain, I never did anything. Like I said, that's just how everything came. All I did was swap the spacers, and I'm very happy with it. So guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.